Back in 1904, only about 1,000 people lived north of Watchung Avenue in what is now called Upper Montclair. It was a happening place. But one day, rumors began to fly about a saloon opening. So a small group of men got together and decided to form a social organization to keep young men and boys glued to sports and games and away from liquor. The club's resurgence in recent times has been fueled by well-planned renovations and improvements like the bar. Who said we don't appreciate irony around here? So in the old Union Congregational Church, the Commonwealth Club had its humble and purposeful beginnings. We wound up purchasing the church and in 1907 completed construction of an addition. It took 3 years, and we celebrated with a dinner at the Montclair Hotel up on the crest of First Mountain, the grandest spot around. We paid tribute to the roll-up-your-sleeves kind of work ethic that's been the hallmark of our membership during the club's first century, give or take an occasional ebb and flow of energy. In the days before the Bellevue Theater, the club was the epicenter of entertainment in Upper Montclair. You name it, we did it. From baseball, bowling, and billiards, to cards, Christmas parties, and the incredible circus of 1912, the Commonwealth became a quintessentially American social club. Before we had our 15th birthday, we flirted with bankruptcy. Our history is replete with marvelous initiatives conceived and carried out by members and their families. It's fitting on nights like this to recall one of those precious moments. With a few generous brushstrokes during his 1914 to 1917 presidency, our own Benjamin Moore wiped out our mortgage, made sure we owned the place free and clear forever, and created an environment where membership soared to 350, still the high water mark to this day. We grew in stature and importance and perhaps let it go to our heads when at one point we entertained the idea that all social organizations in town would fall under the Commonwealth's span of control. In 1967, the club got an artificial heart transplant. Hundreds of hours of work came to fruition with the installation of automatic pin setters.
We decided to go with Brunswick, and the total cost was about $67,000, which the club didn't even come close to having this.
We sold bonds to the membership. We had no money to buy the machines. I think they were going to cost us $65,000.
$68,000.
And the lanes. We bought them used from Brunswick. So the only way we could do it was to sell bonds to the members, and that's the way we raised the money.
That ended 62 years of manual pin placement by local youths.
If I remember, it was $3.25 you got paid. The 25 cents you were supposed to buy yourself an awful afterwards at bonds. But it was tough work.
For sheer longevity, no one comes close to Henry Jackson, the club's outstanding steward for 50 years until his retirement in 1972.
Henry Jackson was the stewardess in the Commonwealth Club for approximately 45 years. Had a 2-room apartment right down in the back off the porch. And he ran the place. He was the Mabel of those days. Everything was Henry this and Henry that, and as Jack said, many members didn't even know his last name was Jackson. It was Henry. He was just Henry.
Lo and behold, our darkest moment would serve up one of our sternest survival tests and provide an historic springboard for regeneration. On a December night in 1984, a 2-alarm fire touched off by a smoldering cigarette butt gutted the club and sent members reeling in the devastation.
It was so devastated, a lot of people wanted to sell the place, sell the land, and get out.
In the ensuing days, months, and years, the Commonwealth family contributed time, skill, insight, effort, money, wit, materials, and tools, just like it had from day one.
That's what happened, because after we had the fire, we destroyed the front of the building. We took that down. What the fire had destroyed, we took down ourselves, and then we sold that property in the front, and all of a sudden, we had some money in the bank. And that's when they started doing improvements around here.
We dug out of the ashes and remade ourselves. On the other hand, Santa Claus has always had the Commonwealth Club on his radar screen as a preseason stop.
When I came here, we had 150 members. And it stayed that way for many years. Just about every merchant in Upper Montclair belonged here.
Yep.
And both.
Work days were great. We don't have those anymore. Where whoever was house chairman would decide what the club needed, paint, repairs, woodwork, carpentry, whatever. We pick a date, a Saturday, and ask the members to come and pitch in.
In the early days of entertaining, I introduced square dance here. And that night, we cooked 120 for 125 people, shell steaks. It was just fabulous times, and to have that many people in here was really great.
This room was graced with 2 moose heads. I think the Angstroms were the hunters.
Might have been, yeah, I think so.
One on each wall. And during one of the rentals at that time, one of the moose heads disappeared. Obviously stolen. And some were happy about it, and some were discouraged by it. Well, what are we going to do with the other one? See, if we can find the thief, let him take that one too. Is my consensus of opinion.
I'd have to say winning, the bowling championship, just because, when you don't win, many championships in your life, you're going to remember one, and that's one I'm never going to forget.
The club is being used far more now than ever in my life,
Right.
I think. And I think that's extremely good for the club.
I think we're very fortunate we got such a big influx of new members, younger members, to keep the thing going, let's face it.
Right.
All right, this is from generation to generation, so.
We're almost part of an old guard because we have so many new members. But some of the new guys that have come in have really grabbed the bull by the horns. When you join this club, it's your club, and you can use it.
But I think there's a whole new enthusiasm, and besides the numbers, there is a sense of, I would almost, earlier today, I used the word reverence. I mean, and people really appreciate the club for what it was, what it has been, what it can be.
Thank God we have guys. We got the elder generation. I mean, we got Tony as secretary and Carl as treasurer for life.
Nobody's better.
That is perfect. And the new guys with the enthusiasm they bring, I think the club is going to endure for quite a time to come.
We all enjoy the club very much. We love the bowling, but we also love everything else that goes on around here. The parties, the camaraderie, coming down, just watching basketball games or football games. It's a home away from home. It's someplace you can always go.
Life and death, rebirth and renewal, renovation and rebuilding. From day one, that's been the Commonwealth storyline. Fortunately, there are men and women with us today who can tell us stories about the way we were and why we did what we did. Years from now, when the club's life cycle is recalled, someone just might remember this moment. On a chilly evening this past winter, enthusiastic volunteers gathered in the boardroom to begin work on a centennial dinner. This planning group alone was half the size of the club's entire membership only 5 or 6 years ago, and there weren't enough chairs to go around, just like the good old days.